Okay, this is Rashad El-Saddiq doing a video session of a counseling. I'm counseling with Chad, who is in recovery from alcohol. This is a follow-up session. Today we will be uh, utilizing motivational interviewing. And again, as I said, this is a follow-up session. Our main emphasis today is we want to try to focus on talking about triggers for today. So again, that's going to be with Chad, and we're rolling right now, and the video of this counseling session is now beginning. So Chad, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, since the last time, I want to take a few minutes to tell me about since our last session, how things been going for you.
My life is smooth. Just
Life is
same
smooth.
Same old, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
Could you say a little bit more about that? What would you consider to be the same, and what
Family's
you consider?
good. I'm good. My wife and daughter are fine. I'm fine. Doing okay.
Everything's going
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Since our last session, anything significant to report or talk about with regards to your continuing recovery? Um, have you gone to meetings or any AE
No,
meetings
just
or anything?
wish I could get to more meetings. Wish I had time to get to more meetings than I do.
More time.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you working a lot?
Yeah. So my hours are such that it's hard to get to my regular meetings.
Okay. So
yeah.
working and family.
Yeah.
Have you
Between
looked?
work and family? Yes.
I see. Have you looked into a lot of different meetings so that you can kind of
Yes.
vary and have more flexibility
Yeah.
schedule? Yeah.
And sometimes, like for a while there was a meeting real close to my house, but it was actually like another treatment center, and I thought it wasn't a good idea to go there. It would have worked out really well because it was like 8 a.m. It was right by my house. I could easily walk there.
Okay.
So anyways, but I didn't do that one. So I'm trying to get to the meetings that I can
So
after work.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and on the weekends. But Saturday I watch my daughter, so it's hard to get to a meeting then unless my wife gets off work in time, etc., etc. It's just difficult to squeeze them in right now.
I see. So just for clarification, you were saying that this one place where you could go for AA meetings
Yeah, well,
was close by.
they've canceled that meeting. That meeting is dark now, so.
Oh, it's canceled.
Yeah, it's canceled.
Okay, so I'm just clarifying. So
But,
it was convenient time, convenient place.
Yeah, exactly.
But they've closed it down now.
Yeah,
I see.
okay.
I see. And so you're looking for
Conflict of interest
other
would be
places
fine,
that you
but
can.
Yes, yeah.
I see. Okay, I see. Okay, well, Chad, for today, if we can just perhaps move forward and try to get a little focus here. I want to talk about triggers today. Are you familiar with what we mean when we say triggers in your
Yeah, things
alcohol
that cause me
recovery?
to think about drinking.
Things to
Right.
think about? Okay, very good. That's good. Excellent. So, first thing what I'd like you to tell me a little about, if you would, is what are some of the kinds of things in your journey? And you've been in, just for recap, you've been in recovery how long now?
No, 5 years.
So for 5 years. Okay. So that's a pretty lengthy time to be in recovery and without any relapse. Is that right?
Not so far this time.
Not so far.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let me commend you on that first of
Okay.
all. Yeah, that's excellent. And I would think with 5 years of your journey,
Mhm.
I would think that there would probably be a lot of time or a number of times or occasions or what have you when you might feel something. You might feel some compulsion or
All sorts
something.
of times, but
Okay.
it's usually fleeting. It's not usually very intense. And you can be walking through the supermarket, and there's booze everywhere in the supermarket nowadays. It's not just in the beer aisle or whatever. It's all over the store. So it's impossible to avoid. even if you don't go down the beer aisle, and that's imagining there's nothing else down the beer aisle that you know would use or need or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's unavoidable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know, most of the time that just leads to fleeting thoughts. And,
When you say fleeting, can you be a little bit more? How would you describe a thought
like
that's
a
fleeting?
label might grab my eye or something, but I'm not really seriously tempted to buy it. There's nothing that new out there and intriguing that's that I feel like I missed out on. That,
Mm-hmm.
is gonna overwhelm me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something I have to deal with every week.
I see. I see. Well,
Booze is out there in our society. It's
Yeah.
socially acceptable. It's legal. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's a liquor store on every corner.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a very realistic perspective about it, because certainly, yes, obviously, you go in the grocery store, you can't avoid it. You know, it's there. Uh, have you ever felt an urge like to walk down a different aisle or something, even if there was something in the same aisle with the beer that you wanted, maybe the peanuts or the chips was in the same aisle? Have you ever felt like, maybe I just walk down a
I
different
haven't
aisle?
felt to this point as if I couldn't go down that aisle
Mm-hmm.
to get what it is I wanted or needed.
I see.
And I guess I'd be more worried if I did.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'd be more worried about that.
So you can
If
walk
I have
down
to
it.
fear it, then yeah, then I'm probably already in trouble.
I see. I see.
That's the way I look at it today.
I see.
But I don't go out of my way,
I see.
so.
So would you say strong willpower, that's having good, that's
I
a
don't think it's
resource.
willpower.
That's a
I think
resource for you.
I credit my higher power. I credit
Oh, okay.
the action of my higher power and the grace of my higher power.
Okay. Okay.
Being able to do that nowadays.
Okay. Okay. And that's interesting. That's commendable. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I feel that he's shaped my my character. He's changed my character. That I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And there's still things about myself that I would change on a daily basis, but as far as that's concerned, as far as drinking is concerned, I believe my higher power has given me the ability to think through those urges when I have them,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so that they're not overpowering.
So you still you attribute to yourself the ability to resist the triggers and stay away from alcohol, but you give the credit for that strength to do that to your higher power. Is that right?
I believe that he can give me certain gifts of grace, that, certain gifts of the Holy Spirit, as it were, that help me to become a better person, to be able to deal with temptations like that in a way that I wasn't in the past.
I see. Okay.
And so, he gives me the ability to do that, then I have to do that.
Yes. So that's encouraging. Would you, were you before you went into recovery from alcohol? Was there a deference to a higher power in your life before that, or was this something that evolved
No, it's something
through
that
your
I,
programming?
that I definitely did not have when I was young. That has only developed through exposure to AA, to the 12 steps.
Okay.
And I did not grow up in a religious household, and my mother, took us aside before we were supposed to receive First Communion, catechism, and said, you know, I've been an agnostic since I was age 14, and if you don't want to do this anymore, you don't have to. And then I asked, well, what's an agnostic? And she explained to me what that was. And that's somebody who didn't know whether there was a God or not. And I asked her why, and she simply explained that she felt there was too much evil in this world, and therefore she couldn't know for a fact that there was a God. And that made a lot of sense to me at the time. So when I was young, I was an agnostic or an atheist, depending on my mood, and you know, really, yeah, I was a member of the Free Thought Association at university. I was at times somebody who was a militant atheist, and really wanted nothing to do with a higher power of God. When I first got my first nudge from the judge at age 21, my first court card, and I saw the steps up on the wall and read God, God, God. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I felt that I shouldn't have even been sentenced to those programs. Those programs were religious in nature, and I shouldn't have been sentenced to them, that was a violation of my civil liberties.
I see.
So, obviously, my perspective has changed.
It seems as such.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Well, as a result of, over a long period of time, of actually recognizing my alcoholism and starting to try to get help and accept help for that.
I see. So just for clarification, that the AA and the 12 steps has, you'd say, is a source of strength for you, and it has been useful for you, and a source of strength for you throughout your journey in recovery.
Absolutely, and I credit it today with the fact that I have a higher power, which I would not have otherwise.
I see. And also, so that higher power, you attribute your ability and your strength to be able to deal with moments of being exposed to alcohol. If you drive down the street past a bar, or you go into like we use the example in the grocery stores, you attribute that to the higher power.
That and more. When I was early sober and I was in a fit of depression, I once even bought a bottle of booze and brought it home. A bottle of vodka, a half pint of vodka, or a pint, I think, pint of vodka. And I poured it out. And, you know, so, you know, at times I've been terribly weak, and yet I feel that God has given me the ability to avoid drinking. And I kept that bottle for a long time as a reminder. And I had it, like, you know, just, I don't know, it was in a box full of, like, you know, gun stuff, parts and ammo, or whatever, you know. And finally my wife convinced me that it was time to just throw it out. But, you know, I didn't need that anymore. She was right. You know.
Yeah, I see. So I would say then, so would it be fair to say also that your wife, in addition to your higher power, is also a source of encouragement and strengthening for you during times of possible potential weakness?
She is. She doesn't really, you know. She's. It's not that often that we even talk about alcoholism or recovery. And Al-Anon is not her thing. She's not really interested in it. And you know, thankfully, when I did relapse over 5 years ago, it didn't seriously affect our marriage. It did in some ways, because, you know, I think it could have, you know, it could have easily led to us breaking up. You know, had I continued to drink, I don't think I would have been able to get her visa to come here. I don't think, you know, I would have, you know, worked and earned money necessarily to, you know, support my wife and daughter in the Philippines until they could come here. And so, you know, it could have easily destroyed our marriage and our relationship.
Right. I see.
Yeah. but it didn't, and you know, so it's not, I guess, as big an issue for her as it is for me.
I see.
My recovery.
I see.
But she does support my recovery, and she goes with me to meetings sometimes.
I see.
Usually to the Friday meeting, we'll go to that one together.
I see.
And
I see.
so, you know, and she has a basic understanding of what AA is about and what alcoholism is.
I see. So as you were describing those difficult times, at, because when we talk about triggers, obviously you have the physical, external world triggers, liquor store, grocery store, going past the bar. What about in your interactions with others, including your wife? Are there any times that you can spot difficulties within yourself, the ability, the urge to because maybe the something's not going well, or maybe having some differences or conflict or anything like that, and not just your wife. I mean, just in your interactions with others in general. Do you find yourself at any time having to resist the urge to resort or even consider, a thought coming to you to get some relief from the emotional stress that might be present with the conflict or difficulties or what have you that you may have at some point with others, whether it's at the job or friends or family, whatever the case might be?
There haven't been any, like I'd say, intense urges in the last few years. In the first couple of years of sobriety, yes, but not presently. Not to the point where I feel like I'm likely to go out and buy a bottle of booze from the store or go to the bar. I wasn't really a bar drinker at the end. I drank at home. But I have been a bar drinker in the past, but that was a long time ago. That's over 12 years ago. I think if I were to drink, I would probably go to the store and buy myself a bottle. But I haven't felt the urge to do that in several years now. And that's how my last relapse began. I was going to the liquor store, buying a bottle, bringing it back to my office. I think, if I were to go out, that's probably how I would go out.
And since we're talking about triggers, was there anything in particular that you think set that off? Or
at the time?
Yes.
My last relapse?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I felt my life was kind of collapsing around me. I wasn't able to extend my visa in Korea.
I see.
And it was because wreckage in my past had kind of caught up with me, and I didn't have a plan. Didn't think I was going to be able to. Was afraid I wasn't going to be able to reunite our family.
I see.
And so I was kind of in a panic. I kind of joked that this was happening around the time of Fukushima, but actually that did kind of affect us where we lived. Sometimes they would even close schools and so forth. I was a teacher because of radiation. Because the prevailing winds normally carry the radiation out to sea, but sometimes they would carry it the other way over Japan and Korea. And I was also in kind of a panic about that. I was, taping plastic to my windows.
Stressful time, no doubt. Yeah.
And but I was kind of having a personal meltdown at the time.
I see.
And so that was behind it. And before I had relapsed, I had stopped going to meetings. I had stopped talking to people in the program. I had stopped talking to the person I considered my sponsor.
I see.
I had stopped being of service in AA. And So
I see. So I guess a big question, that or burning question for me, Chad, is, you know, with you sharing how you relapsed before, and obviously we could say that a trigger for you at that time was the difficulty of life at that time. You
hmm
felt that your life was falling apart. There was, you know, a lot of external factors that were putting stress on you. And if we were to look at that as the impetus that triggered your relapse. Just say for just suppose for a moment if that were to occur again, how what do you think are the tools that you have present that would prevent you from another relapse going
yeah,
forward in the future? Now, of course, we're not being pessimistic. We're just
yeah.
looking at hypothetical
I would
and
say,
not examining
you know,
triggers.
staying close to the program, you know, getting to meetings when I need to, talking to my sponsor, which sometimes it's still difficult picking up the phone and talking to my sponsor when there's a problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes it still feels like the phone weighs 500 pounds, but I
Wow.
do it.
Yeah,
When
I
there's
appreciate
something
that
really,
honesty. Yeah.
when there's some big crisis going on and I do need somebody to talk to, I do manage to do it nowadays. Um, and you know, even though I'm not able to get to the meetings that I would like to, I spend a lot of my days doing essentially 12-step work, and you know, so I'm constantly thinking about the program and recovery, and it's never far from me. And so, you know, those things are what I feel would make the difference today. But bottom line, I know I might have another drunk in me. I don't know that I have another recovery.
Well, I
And
appreciate your honesty.
I don't take my sobriety for granted, and that's how seriously I take it. That I know that if I did go out and relapse, I'm not guaranteed a return trip at this point.
Yes.
And I am a diabetic, and I'm struggling to control my sugar right now.
Mm.
Um, you know, it was in like the 280s last time I checked, and I'm on 2 different medications, and I've had my dosages upped
Okay.
on both of those. And you know, I don't know how I would manage my sugar levels if I was drinking. I'm sure I wouldn't. I'm sure I wouldn't even care about it.
Right.
And you know, right now, if I don't make some major changes, it's something that could kill me. And I don't think I would do that at all if I were drinking. And so, yeah, I don't consider a relapse something that I would necessarily come back from at this point.
Okay.
It was complications of diabetes caused by his alcoholism that killed my grandfather when I was a baby.
Okay.
His name was Mac, or Vince. His friends called him Mac or Vince. And I'd probably go out like that, I guess.
So just kind of reflecting on the family journey and
Oh,
how
I can
that
see
ended.
that.
I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
You know, my father and grandfather both struggled with diabetes, but they were kind of normies. At least my father was at the end. He was a heavy drinker for part of his life, but wasn't a non-drinker for years before his death. You know, and my grandfather, I don't think, was ever an alcoholic on my father's side. So, you know, but diabetes runs through the family on both sides.
I see.
And yeah, I don't think I'd necessarily survive another relapse just because of health reasons.
I see. Well, Chad, just if I could go to you know, just kind of wrapping up what we've talked about today, and share a few insights that I have just from our conversation, mainly about the some of the strengths I see, resources that you have, that you appear to have, that seems to be instrumental in helping you, stay on this journey. And I want to commend you for that, first of all. But a couple of things that you mentioned, your affiliation with the AA, and how that's working for you, and how that has brought you to reliance on your higher power. That seems to be one of the most powerful strengths that you have at this time. Your relationship with your wife, she seems to be a good source of strength and understanding and encouragement for you, and certainly the history that you have in your family. It seems that also is kind of it serves as a kind of a deterrent for you. That's maybe strengthening you to stay on this journey of recovery and non-relapse. And you have a pretty honest outlook. It doesn't seem like it seems like you're not fooling yourself. That like you said, there's no guarantee of what's going to happen. There's no guarantee that if another relapse would come about, that you're going to come back for it. So that's really powerful. Your honest outlook on the situation. And I would just encourage you to embrace and to really hold fast to all these strengths that you have: your wife, your higher power, your AA meetings, your honest outlook. And, it all sounds positive. And just being aware that those triggers that, as I'm sure you already know anyway, they're gonna always be present there. It's always gonna be that little voice that's saying, times is tough right now. Maybe another drink might be good for you.
There's nothing in my life right now that a drink is gonna make any better.
Absolutely, great.
And no problem that it's gonna solve.
Great.
And, it's that's why I say I'm able to think through a drink nowadays. Because of that.
Yes. Well, all sounds good, and I appreciate you coming in today and sharing with me, and just having an opportunity to take a look at this idea of triggers. And hopefully the next time when we meet again next week, we can explore that a little bit more, or perhaps look at some other areas of concern right now. So I'm Rashad, and I'm signing off with Chad. This completes our session for today, and thank you for listening. Okay, so
how do you think we did?
I just hit the red button.
Okay.